Hello, my name is Asal Shokati with Jewelbox 77. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and a business consultant. And today in this video recipe, we're gonna be learning how to make almond milk from scratch. You will see my face shortly, but I wanted to give you an idea that I soaked the almonds for about 24 hours. You may do it for less. And after a while, I kept them in the fridge so the skin is kind of easy to peel off. So here we have a cup of almonds all soaked, and we would need a colander and another dish or a bowl or anything, and perhaps a kitchen towel. You will see shortly that I'm gonna begin blanching and peeling these almonds, and that's what we're gonna use in our almond milk today. So here's our almond blanched, peeled. I used raw almonds, and for a cup of almonds, it took about half an hour after they were soaked to peel them off, and I use it as a meditation activity, and I sit there, and it's very calming to peel off the almonds, and you put your love and energy into it anyways. The other ingredients are per cup of almond, 1 large medjool date that I'm gonna de-pit and chop, about this much of cinnamon bark, and a star anise. And you can add nutmeg, a little bit of nutmeg, or anything that you like, even cloves, but I want it to be sweeter. And to bring the taste together, a little bit of pink Himalayan salt and a little bit of black pepper, just a tiny bit. And again, water is necessary, but I would use 3 to 1, so 3 cups of water per cup of almond. The reason is the processing is much easier and faster, and it's still creamy enough. If you want to make chai with it, almond chai, well, you don't need to add much water, if at all. But even to drink it is pretty smooth and creamy. I'm gonna add the almonds to the pot. And I've already boiled water, so this is equivalent to 3 cups. I'm gonna add here. And we'll turn the stove on to medium low. It's about 2 to 3 depending on what you have. I use an electric stove, so we want it to be on medium low, and then we're gonna add the other ingredients. The dates are chopped as fine as I could, and the star anise and the cinnamon bark, I kind of rinsed them. You know, we never know where they came from. I'm gonna add them. And I'm going to add this to the mix. The trick is not to overdo the salt and pepper, so just a tiny bit. Use your intuition. Maybe a little bit more. And voila, so now we're gonna wait for it till it starts boiling, and it will not take much longer to be ready. As you see, the foam is forming up here. I'm gonna scrape it off. No need to be consuming this. You don't have to be a perfectionist about it. You just clean up what you see. Wait a little bit longer as more foam will be formed. After about 10 or 15 minutes, it's ready. So I'm gonna set it aside so it will cool down, so the processing of it will be much easier. Our mixture has cooled down substantially within half an hour, so what I'm going to do is take a scoop of the almonds with a little bit of the water, and I want to make sure I do not get the star anise more of the cinnamon bark in there, because what we're gonna do is blend. And I will spare you from that part since it's gonna be loud and nothing exciting. So pretty much, just to make it easy, I would blend about this much of almond but this much of water or juice and go from there. I went ahead and filled it up and it's blended pretty well. It just took a couple of seconds. Ingredients are soft enough. We want to make sure we run it one more time just in case, and at this point we will transfer this soupy almond milk into another bowl. So just to show you, this is enough for it. I'm using a sift, and I'm also using a cheesecloth. This is a very, very fine cheesecloth. It's a little bit expensive, maybe about $17, but it's totally worth it. It does the job right and it's very, very easy to clean, so you don't have to like throw away so much for just a little bit of almond milk each time. I let it naturally go down and I add some more. And what helps is if you get a spatula or a spoon and start stirring it a little bit, the fake milk will make its way through the new bowl quicker. The beauty of it is whatever's left over, and we want to make sure very little is left over, that can be dried up and used as almond meal. Much more room for creativity. And add a little bit more. So I used sift, but it's actually a strainer. Again, you want to make sure it's fine, meaning that the holes or the space between the mesh strings are not too wide, so the particles do not travel down. So right off the bat, we're gonna get really good consistent almond milk. One thing about almond milk is, I think it was about last year that they said if it doesn't have the nipples, aka it doesn't come from the animal, it shouldn't be called milk. So just for the lack of a better word, I'm using the term milk, but I'm going to go ahead and spell it differently just to make sure that it is not mistaken by animal milk. And here's another view so you can see better. This is pretty much all of it, and down below the milk is coming out. Gently stirring. Process is going to take a little bit longer. It's all a matter of patience and love, what you're going to give into your food. What you give to it, you're going to get it back in return. Tenfold, I would say, because not only is tasty, it's full of prana and good energy. There is a point that you got to dig in and get your hands a little dirty or tasty. Start squeezing this. I'm going to squeeze gently so it's not splashing all over the place. Squeezing it gently from the top to the bottom. You see almond milk is coming out. This method is a variation of what I learned interning at a commercial kitchen, a really, really nice bakery, Bake Lab in Houston. Because my previous attempts to make almond milk, I would get stuff, but it was just so hard, and it just didn't taste well. But the water ratio and the spices are my addition. And of course, I learned to be patient. The first time around, squeezing this is going to be harder. What I would recommend is if you just consume it at home for yourself, you may need to do it one at a time. But if you're doing it commercially, or you want to have a perfect smooth product, then you may have to do this process several times so there are no residues. Again, one last look. So it's gonna have a very doughy feel to it. The milk has come out. We want to make sure any juice that is left there has come out. And you can toss this or feed it to your plants or just dry it out on a sheet pan. You may put it in the oven, very low temperature, and get some almond meal out of it. I rinsed the cheesecloth, the strainer, and the pot that I used earlier. And I'm gonna run it through one more time and it will go down much smoother. I don't know if you can see, but I get a glimpse of it. There's a little bit of a brown residue. And that's why we're doing this again. If you're at home, you may not need to do it more than twice, especially if you're using a high quality cheesecloth, which is the case here. Should be happy, and you still get a little bit here, so it's proof that it's good to do it at least 2 times. I'm going to set that aside and get everything transferred over. I have this bottle that I normally use, a funnel. I'm going to use one more strainer here. To catch anything that I've missed. So with 1 cup of almonds and 3 cups of water, we ended up with this much. So I would say this is about 2 cups of almond milk that you can enjoy. It's pretty tasty. Santé. Make sure you put it in the fridge. It should last just fine for a couple of days. I'll consume it as soon as I can. And if you see there's a separation, just stir it up and it's back to normal. Sometimes when you heat it up, the particles will separate. Just stir it a few times. Good to go. Enjoy. Bye-bye.